what's going on everybody? Thank you for joining me here again today, Digital Renovations. Today we're going to be tackling how we can build a word counter. It's a pretty super common feature nowadays in text processing apps like Word or even Notepad's got it. Given it's everywhere, you're probably wondering why we'd even bother, but I think it's a really interesting way for us to look at learning how we can handle blocks of text and reading files. So these are sort of the fundamentals that are going to go into the building blocks of how to use Python. And taken further, you could be using it to build apps that form, say, sentiment analysis or form a portion of a blogging tool, whatever you like, really. So let's jump in and take a look. First, we're going to need to look at how we can grab some content. So I've got a file here, content.txt, just some words and things. Let's look at how we can actually open this using Python. So I'll define our main function, and we'll say run our main function. And then the magic happens in between. So we want a file that we can reference. In that file variable, we're going to open content.txt, and we're going to open it only for writing. So we go writing, reading. I think I just said writing. We want it for reading. So what we've done here, this / just means in the folder that we're in, get content.txt. If you wanted to put in a URL for something that you wanted to read, if you wanted to put in, it's just in the C drive, like C/content. We're putting this folder /content because this script and this content file are stored in the same directory. So let's take our file. I'm just going to have a quick look at what it says. So we'll go print file.read. So we're going to read a file variable and then spit out what it has to say. So we go Python Wordcount.py, and we can see that we've spit out the exact text from our content file. So step one, mission accomplished. Now the file's open, we can read the content that's in there. Let's explore how we can actually handle some of the text that's sitting inside there. So we might use this as our doc reader function now. And we will, instead of just printing out the content, we are going to return this so that when we call that within our new main function, what we get back is just the words and stuff that were present within that folder, within that file. So within this now, we've got a new main function, and we're going to call that content equals, and then we're going to call that doc reader. So now we've got a content variable that just has the words and stuff that are present within that file. And we're going to split that up. So we're going to have split content. And what splitting is, so I'm just going to content.split. Go split based on spaces. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a list of everything that's in here. I'm going to say every time there's a new space, put it as a new element within that list. So if we take this and we go print split content and run that, hopefully we don't get an error. No, we're good. We can see we have our list here within the square brackets, and every word that's in there has its own element. Every time there's a space, we create a new element within there. So right now, this doesn't look quite right, does it? So if we go in here, we've got this is some content that I am putting together. And what the is we've got a /n character here, and that's new line. So in here, that goes here, because we're dropping down to the next line. That's not a word wrap, that's me hitting the enter key and it dropping down. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to jump in here and we're going to take out this space and we're just going to leave it, say split. What split does when you don't specify a character is go anything that we regard as white space. So a new line, a space, I'm sure there's a list somewhere out there if you Google it. It will take that as our, we'll call it a delimiter, to split up the elements within our list. So let's try that again now. And magically, between together and two, we've split that out. We've got together as one element, two as another. So we've successfully broken it up in a way that works for our content. If you had a file like a CSV or a CSV file, where it's a comma separated variable file, if you wanted to look at each element within that individually and create a list or an array with that, you would just put a comma in there. But if the delimiter was a pipe, you could put a pipe character in there. But if you put nothing, it's just going to default to white space. Now, that's all well and good, but we wanted to count the number of words so we can see how many words are in there. Wonderful. But now we're going to need to actually take that and give us the number. So we're going to get rid of this line here. We're going to go word count. And it's really easy. We're just going to go len for length, split, len of split content. And we're just going to say, hey Python, tell me the length or the number of things that exist within this list. So it's going to count all of those for us. That number is going to sit in word count. So now we'll go print to f for an f string. So we can put in variables and we'll say the number of words in the file is, because it's an f string, we can just put in some curly braces here. We type in our variable name, word count, hit save, run it again. See, the number of words in the file is 17. Perfect. There we have it. We have successfully counted the number of words in a file. So, I mean, obviously this you could just do almost on your fingers, certainly on your fingers and toes, 17 words. Happy days. But if you wanted to look at breaking down something much bigger, obviously you'd be able to count the words. If you wanted to then run sentiment analysis against that content, you'd be able to break it down and look at, okay, well, do we think the word together is a word with positive sentiment or a negative sentiment? When we're demonstrating, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? And actually analyze the words that are in there based on the split content, rather than saying, hey, just tell me how many words there are. But we're focused on the basics here. So hopefully that's been really helpful for you. Hopefully you've learned something. If you've got any comments, questions, feedback, drop it down below. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you want to keep going with this YouTube journey that I'm on, subscribe. Super helpful. Hit the little bell icon if you're particularly enthusiastic and want to see as soon as a new video comes out. But until next time, have a good one.